All right, today we're going to be talking about the one-page document you need to get really crystal clear on your business. I'm also going to be sharing how to use this document to onboard your team properly. Okay, I need to move my chair because I'm very low. Okay. All right, welcome back. I'm excited to chat with you in our live training. How many of you really needed to see this piece of paper that we taught last week, Thursday, to go, well, I'm not clear? Right? Because the problem is if you aren't clear, how in the world are you going to train your team to get crystal clear and know where we're going, what we're doing, etc.? If you're joining us live, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Excited to have you here today. We have been doing this series now together since the beginning of January. So if you've missed a few of these, no worries, you can always catch up. Okay, page 27 says that one sheet was very helpful. So here's what I'll tell you. A lot of times when I'm working with business owners, they really believe they need more of everything. They need to be bigger. They need more marketing campaigns, more leads, more customers, more, right? And I'm telling you that more is only making your business more complicated. And when we want to get you, the CEO, crystal clear, and we want to get your team crystal clear, more is not the answer. Okay. So when we're looking at this one-page document, it's one person to sell to, one problem that we're trying to change, right? One product that we're changing this problem with or solving this problem with, and then one platform. How many of you are on way too many platforms? You can't keep up. You're not doing that great of a job because there's just too much. I remember when I started Well Oiled, the first thing I did was go grab all the handles, right, on every platform, because of course I need to be on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on you name it, right? It was like, you have to be. You've got to be everywhere. And what we really realize, now here at Well Oiled, we're producing $1 million a month. And the bigger we get, the more simple our business gets. And that is truly how we've been scaling so fast, is just simplify. Okay. Now, I do believe in growing a team that is super clear, that is understanding what the mission is, where we're going, what we're doing, right? And then they get to help us carry the heavy weight of running a business. So let's switch gears here for just a minute and talk a little bit about onboarding and getting people up to speed. I think number one, the big problem is you, the business owner, you are doing too much. How many of you right now in the chat, how many of you know that to be true? You are doing way too much, right? Raise your hand, me in the chat, okay? Now, the only way that we get to start to let go and start to grow the business is by getting the right people and giving them the right systems, right, to do this without us. Yeah, too much and not enough, right? Of course. So with that said, if we can get really crystal clear, I think this goes hand in hand. I don't have the same pager with me and I can see it. I can't get up to get it, but the same pager and this document really goes hand in hand, because it's just helping you get crystal clear and getting this information on paper so that the clearer you are, the clearer you will be with your team. Okay. So as we build our team, the biggest thing we need to do is we need to transfer what's in our head over to them. And if you're not clear, they will not be clear. Okay. So let's talk about what traditional business owners do. They are solopreneurs for as long as they can take it. And then they realize, I'm going insane. I need help. So then they finally hire, even though they're like, I'm not even paying myself. How can I afford to pay somebody else? But I don't know. I have to. So they hire out of desperation. Okay. Now, for somebody to succeed, for any of us to succeed, we need to make sure that we are given the proper training to do anything, right? You can be good at anything if you just get training, right? If you get that coaching, if you get that support. But what happens is you are overwhelmed. So you hired out of desperation and you don't have time to coach or train them. So what you do is you bring them on, you give them nothing, right? Or you throw all, like everything but the kitchen sink at them, and you're confused why they're not grasping it. You're confused why they're not retaining this information. I already told them this. How did they mess this up? I told them this when on day one. Like, I don't get it, right? Yeah. Vanya says, I feel this, right? 1000%. So what happens is, before you ever go and decide, I'm going to hire that next person, you better clear your calendar to get ready to support them. Okay. Get ready to support them. So, right, we use an analogy of like, if our kids went to school and they had a pop quiz today, but they were never given the actual education, they're getting a quiz on something they have yet to learn. Guys, we are quizzing our team on things they have yet to learn, and we are mad. We are frustrated. We are angry. We're angry when we're like, how did you not read my mind? How did you not use common sense to figure this out, right? When in reality, some of them are terrified to make a move, make a decision without you, because they know you want to be in control. They know you are holding on to how we do things here, okay? So there's a lot of work to do. So step one is you, the CEO, getting crystal clear, using the same pager, using this new one-page document we brought out last week, getting clear, and then taking this and transferring it to them. Okay. Donna says that's right on. Yeah. Yikes. Yes. And here's the thing. I say this because I need you to go, oh my goodness, that's what I'm doing. What is happening? We see so many business owners right now. I think we have like 600 active members inside of Well Oiled. And I see repetition. I see what is happening. And the insanity is when somebody has constant turnover, hates their team, frustrated with their team, firing their team constantly, right? It's just like, but guys, they don't think that it's their fault. They're like, well, I don't get it. Why do these people keep finding me? And it's like, you are attracting them, right? You're attracting them, and then you're not giving them the tools they need, and it's just chaos. And then you're having a lot of turnover, you're firing a lot, or they're quitting a lot, right? We've got to be really, really careful. All right. Yes, Wendy, 1000%. Why would your team members love what I'm saying? Because they're like, thank you. You're the crazy one, not me. You have way too high of expectations, not me, right? And I want them to feel that way, but I also want you to go, wake up call. I cannot keep behaving the way that I have. I need to give them time and energy, right? I know people don't want to hear like team meetings are the answer and key performance indicators are the answer, because it's like one more thing you have to do as a business owner, right? But I'm telling you, what's missing from your business is the clarity. Okay. And the problem is, let's say you fill this pretty piece of paper out and you get really clear, but then next week, new idea. Oh my goodness, we should start a new business. Like, we should do this. We should do that. When you're finally tasting success, instead of doubling down on what is working, you're like, we should start this. We should have this. You know who we could serve? I know we're serving this person, but I think we could serve XYZ. Your team can't keep up with you. You can't even keep up with you, right? Which is why there's a lot of unfinished projects, right? You are a great starter, but before you ever finish something, you're on to the next. And then you give all those bad habits to your team because they're learning to start with you. And then in the middle of the project, you're like, actually, Wendy, wait, hold up. Okay, I know you're going to do this, but we're going to pause and you're going to do this. Or worse, you never say, we're going to pause on that. You just give them something new to do. And they're thinking, I now have 16 gigantic projects, and she just keeps coming up with new ones. Okay. Team, can we get Justin the video link from last Thursday with this one-page document so he can grab that? All right. Throw any questions you have. We're doing these live for a reason. If you've got questions, post it in the chat. Okay. Melinda says, I'm still not clear what KPIs are. Where can I find more info on this? Okay, so first of all, key performance indicators, fancy word for metrics, fancy way to basically say, right, you're setting the expectation. Now, if you have not if you have not grabbed our book on Amazon, I think we still have it for like under $6, the physical book mailed to your house. It's free on Kindle Unlimited, 99 cents on Kindle. No reason to not snag this book, okay? So Well-Oiled Operations on Amazon. It's going to talk about KPIs in detail in here, and there's some free like bonus trainings after, again, free for you to continue to keep cruising. So what I will say on KPIs, what I really want you to think about with KPIs specifically is, how does every person in the company play a part in the bigger role? And where we see sometimes a big problem is somebody will say, no, I really don't know how they play a bigger role. No, I really can't figure out why, like what their KPIs would be. And sometimes you've just hired busy people to do busy work and they really aren't producing. Okay. So we've got to get careful, because hiring is a skill set you need to learn, right? But then you start, how many of you like started to hire and you're like, this is fun, this is nice, like I'm getting things off my plate, and you become addicted, but in a way that like, but wait, the profit's tanking. But wait, I don't understand, because all of a sudden, right, you're wondering, I'm getting help, I'm getting time off my plate, but we're not making enough money to support these people. And KPIs, is key performance indicators, are really getting each person to understand, okay, Justin, you are responsible for owning these 3 things, right? Donna, we need you to pay attention to these 3 numbers. You're going to report on them every single week, right? And you'll know if you have the right KPIs, because if you're winning, you should be profitable, right? If you're losing, you should see the profit is tanking, right? And you'll know that the KPIs are right. Now, if you're crushing your KPIs and you're not profitable, you have not picked the right KPIs. We have not figured out what actually needs to happen for the business to be successful. So here's an example. You're crushing your YouTube KPIs. You're getting subscribers every week. You're getting likes every week, right? People are commenting. This is so exciting. But the revenue's not there. The money's not, like, right? So you can crush a KPI and have the business be failing. And what I will say is, you pick the wrong KPI, right? Those KPIs are not actually directly related to the revenue and profit. So you really got to understand, are we picking the right ones? And the bottom line is going to tell you. Okay. The bottom line is going to tell you for sure. All right. With that said, yep, we'll get you guys the links. No worries. So Melinda, does that help you a little bit clear up KPI specifically? Okay. We definitely, I think KPIs are one of the hardest things for people to do. And what happens is they pick them, but then again, they don't mean anything, or they're not actually moving the needle, and they get really confused. So just ask yourself, are these numbers directly related, right, to the health of the business, not vanity, right? So if all your numbers are related to revenue, but profit is nowhere to be found, right, you're going to have a problem. Because how many of you know you can be a 7-figure business owner and be broke? You can spend more than 7 figures, right? It's definitely, we see it all the time. So you want to be really, really careful. So with that said, I want you to be thinking about, number 1, am I clear? And am I, like, you've got to get good at slowing yourself down and being disciplined. Like, the reason I'm like, go fill this out and don't touch it. Like, for 1 year, leave it. Don't touch it. Stay here. Stay focused. If you could stay focused, your team is going to feel like, finally, there's peace. She's not here. She's not throwing things at me every single day. We know the plan. We know where we're going. Okay. So I really want to make sure that you are clear and you don't allow yourself to get all over the place. All right. In the chat right now, say, I'm getting clear, right? I'm getting clear and I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the plan. I have my top 3 goals on my whiteboard over here. Okay. And I don't touch that until like December 28th. And when I go to erase it, it has been sitting there for a year. I can't even take an eraser. It is like stuck on my whiteboard. I have to go get a spray and scrub. Okay. That is what it's like to set a goal and stick with it. Some of you, you're erasing it before you even finish the sentence, and your team is not able to keep up. Okay. So I want to take a step back for a moment. How many people are on your team right now? Can you put in the chat? How big is your team? Just you, 5 people, 15 people, 50 people? Who do you have? What do you have? Okay. So you're putting that in the chat right now. Now, think about this. If you have, 3 people, 5 people, 12 people, 25 people, right? I want you to ask yourself, what would happen if my competitor understood these strategies and learned how to hire and train and truly have mastery in management and leadership? Your business would not be able to keep up. Right? I have an unfair advantage, right? One of my maybe top 5 competitors, I think there's like 6 people on their team. There is 0% chance that they could compete with me with 6 people. We have like almost 30 right now, full-time employees. Okay. I'm not even looking at them anymore as a competitor, right? I mean, I'm just completely got into a different league, right? So Dawn said they would crush us. So the biggest unfair advantage you have is getting the skill set to become this unicorn attractor, A player attractor, right? They want to work with you. They're excited about working with you. You are organized. You have a plan. It's easy. They know if they're winning or losing, right? All of this starts to come together for them. And that is how you're going to continuously just take off. Okay. All right. I'm just reading some of these messages. Okay. So I really want you to go, where am I lacking in this area? Where am I struggling? Do I not have clarity? Maybe I have clarity, but I haven't passed it to anybody else, right? Where are you really missing the mark here? All right. I want to talk about onboarding and re-onboarding for a minute. Okay. So when I bring up what it looks like to hire and onboard somebody into your company, most business owners who are new to me go, I haven't been doing this well, right? Like, shoot, I've been in business for 7 years and like I didn't do any of that, right? And I want to give you this word to really help you understand it's never too late, and put the word in the chat right now, re-onboard. Re-onboard, okay? And that word is giving you permission to go back and properly onboard everybody on your team. Okay. Versus thinking onboarding is a 90-day process that you do from 0 to day 90. And once it's done, and you've missed it. No, you could re-onboard somebody 6 years into working with you. Okay. So that word right there, my friend, is going to be your new best friend, because you need to go back and say, who do I need to re-onboard? Who did I not give clear direction to? Maybe it's all of them, right? So one thing that I would do if you're going through this stage of learning that I really need to re-onboard is I would just go on I would do one meeting with the group, and I would say, like, whatever you pick, right? It's February 19th. We're halfway through Q1. Today, I really want to talk about the vision and how we're going to finish Q1 strong. If you're listening to this in July, we're more than halfway through the year. We're going to talk about how we're going to finish this year strong. That's it. You don't have to say, guys, I failed to onboard you 6 years ago, so now I'm going to re-onboard you. No, you're going to say, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make the plan for the next 6 weeks on how we crush Q1. We're going to come up with a critical number, a number that we really want to hit collectively as a team by the end of this quarter. And then we're going to break down, right? We're going to break down how each of you play a part in that. What am I doing? I'm onboarding them. Yeah, I mean, I love it. She's like, I like to call it alignment. Yeah, let's get back in alignment. So filling this out, saying, you know what? I want to just get really, really crystal clear on this. I know you've been here for how long, or I know some of you have been here for a long time, but I want to go back. I don't want to lose this, right? Our perfect person, and you just describe them. They're female, or they're male, or they're this old, or they're married, or they're single, or they're whoever, and you just brain dump. And here's what they want, right? Here's the problem they're having. Here's the frustration that they've got. And you're just describing what they're struggling with, right? And this is why we sell this product, right? Our bestseller, because our bestseller helps them with XYZ, right? And our number one focus for the next 6 weeks, our biggest platform we're on right now is Instagram. And we're going to just go deep into Instagram for the next 6 weeks. And we're coming up with a plan to make that happen. Okay. How many of you are like, I could do that? That is simple. Like, for sure, I could do it. Okay. Now, looking at this document, do you see how I have this on the bottom? Those bottom pieces, it says marketing, sales, customer success, operations. So what you can do with the bottom piece is just give yourself one objective in each one of these to say, listen, marketing, maybe you're talking to yourself, maybe you're the director of marketing, right? You might be like, the next 6 weeks for marketing, I need to do this daily, or I need to have a non-negotiable of this once a week. Okay. You might go, sales, we've got to follow up. We've got a list of leads that we're not following up with. We're going to spend every Friday, like half the day, just following up. Okay. You start to create your calendar with these rhythms, these routines to get the ball moving. How many of you is this clicking for? You're going, I can do this. This makes sense. I'm completely rolling this out. Now, some of you set January goals, Q1 goals, and we're 6 weeks in, and maybe you're totally off track. You're way bigger than you thought you'd be. You're way smaller than you thought you'd be. Who knows? Okay. This could be a good conversation to go back and say, well, here's what we said we were going to do, right? Or if you didn't roll it out, now's the time to roll it out, right? No big deal. No big deal. Best time was obviously January 1st. Next best time is today, right? So you're going to go back and you're going to roll this out, and you're just going to say, here's our objective. Here is how we're going to still go after these numbers. Okay. I love it. Diana wants to know, what project management software do you use? Can you recommend one that is best? I'm using Asana. I'm looking to use a different one. Okay. So here's what I want to ask Diana, but I want to ask all of you this. Okay. So if you want to switch, my question, Diana, is what problem are you trying to solve? What is Asana not doing for you that you believe something could be doing it better? Okay. Because I could just be like, oh, Monday's amazing. You need to go to Monday. That's what we use. And you might not know Asana has the same capability. Now, I don't know. I don't know the direct comparison between the two. Okay. But my point is, if you're trying to solve a problem, what is the problem? Because what if the next software I recommend doesn't solve that problem? In fact, it's actually not as sophisticated as the one you're using. I don't know. So we have a situation right now. We're using a calendar software. Okay. And somebody actually recommended the one on the team, somebody recommended the one we left. So they're new. They don't know. Right. And they went, hey, I'm thinking we should switch from this software to this software because of XYZ. And I was like, actually, we left that software because here are problems that this solved. So what's the problem you're trying to solve? And is it a bigger problem than the one we just fixed? Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So I really want you, Diana, to get clear on what you're trying to do, because a lot of you right now are like, you wrote down getmonday.com. That's what Stacy uses. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to go, hold up. Is mine good enough? Like, it's possible I actually have researched another one and think it's better. And I'm like, actually, let's just hold off for right now because we don't have the manpower to switch. Right? So you've got to be careful. Okay. Amazing. Looks like year-to-date revenue is up 43%. Huge, huge. Now, if that was my number and I got that data back, I would be saying why. I would be dissecting that so crystal clear. I would be going, what are we doing differently? What is working? And the more you can identify what is working and bring that back to your team, the better. So one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody on the team is winning, they're like, no idea why, but this is what's happening. I'm like, no. We are detectives. Okay. If you're winning, why? Why are you winning? What's going on? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are your routines? What are your rhythms? What have you changed? Give me all that data. Okay. I love it. I love it that you know why. I love it. Now, if they're losing, what's happening? What pattern are we getting stuck in? Right? What happened the last time we were losing and how did we get out of it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, too busy to bill people. Yeah. Oh, so easy to fix, right? But like to really understand that if you're finally billing people and you're making that kind of money, you may go, I just need to hire somebody to do this and make money so I can focus on bigger things because I have a feeling billing people, of course, it's very important. It's bringing in revenue, but I have a feeling that what you're doing can be trained and taught to somebody else so you can step up and do higher level activities. Make sense? But super excited for you. Like that's huge. Okay. All right. Social Red. I just hired, just getting my operator hired this week. What would you say are the top must-dos during the onboarding process and which should be the first 3 trainings I have him do inside of Well Oiled? Okay. First of all, I'm so happy that you're inside of Well Oiled because obviously that's where a lot of those operator trainings are going to be. So that's going to be the easiest thing. So first, well-oiled operations in general is teaching you how to have a well-run business, a business that runs without you. I honestly would have your operator go through the training in order. Ask your coach if it can be unlocked for them and they can just consume and grasp the ideas so they understand like what a really successful business looks like. Okay. So that's probably what I would have them do. Now, if you're actually already, if you're in technically Woo Plus, where you've been with us longer than 6 months, they actually have their own operator training portal that you could just have them go through that. But depends on who you are, what level you're in. If you're in the first phase, just have them go in order. If you're in the second phase, have them go into the operator modules. Okay. But let's backtrack for a minute for anybody that's not in our program. So what would you say are the 3 top must-dos during the onboarding process? Okay, number 1, have them shadow you a lot. They need to understand the full picture. They need to understand this, like the business, like the big idea, right? So the more they can just watch and observe, I wouldn't have them necessarily do a lot of the stuff within the first 30 days. I want them to just go in here and like grasp everything. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So they've got to go like, oh, this is who you serve. This is what we sell. This is what they're struggling with. Here's the platform we're on. Here's how we make money. And here's what marketing does. And here's what sales does. And they've got to grasp this. They need to understand it. They need to know the same pager. They need to learn your business. Okay. If you have an operator come in like so hot and just ready to move, they don't know enough about your business to actually get the implementation part done. Does that help? Okay. Dawn says some members of our team constantly make excuses for the reasons they're not meeting their KPIs. We are struggling to address this well. Okay, Dawn, I get it. All right. So first of all, Dawn, why are they not hitting it? What are their reasons? And does it make sense? Like sometimes my team will say, listen, okay, Wendy, I will get to that. That's a great question. I'll get to that in 1 second. So sometimes they're right. It's like, oh yeah, we said 12 was your number. You're hitting 6. You've never hit past 6 before, right? They maybe don't have the skill set or the tools to get there, right? So one of the questions I like to ask Dawn is, what do you need from me? How can I support you in hitting your KPIs? What is missing? Okay. So take their excuses and their reasons and figure out how do we solve that problem. Okay. Now, sometimes it's not you solving it. It's saying, okay, so I want you to do some research this week on what it looks like to go from this to this. And I want you to present me on 3 possible solutions on what you think you could do to get us there. Like give them the work, give them the research. Okay. So Dawn, if there's follow-up on that, please post again. I would love to hear if there's more, but I love my favorite phrase. How can I support you in hitting your KPI? And see what they say. Okay. And if it's unrealistic or there's no way we're going to hit it, is that true? And if you're like, it's not unrealistic, then train them, show them, maybe take it over for a week to be like, look it, I just hit it. Okay. Now let me show you how I hit it and I'm going to train you. Okay. Wendy wants to know, what do I mean by operator? Okay, so every business that is well oiled, right? There is the business owner, which is typically what we call like the innovator. They are the ideas person, which I'm sure many of you are like, yep, that is who I am, right? You're thinking of stuff constantly. You're a strategist, like you can't help it. But your strength is also your weakness. So we're looking for your like right hand to partner up with you, right? Who hears your vision and makes it happen. So the operator gets it done. Okay. They also can start to become your gatekeeper in between you and all the other people on your team. If 9 people are reporting to you, that's just way too many people, right? So the operator is the right hand. It is one of the key things we teach inside of well-oiled operations. My operator is in there. We have specific content just for them. We're really getting them to take that vision and to make it happen. And I will tell you this, the people that leave our program with operators, they are usually some of the best case studies. They make way more money than everybody else. Why? Because they have a finisher. Like you are a starter and you finally get a finisher to make it happen. Does that help, Wendy? Okay. All right. So sometimes it's them not taking ownership. Maybe ask them, what would you do differently this quarter if you could start it over? Yeah, great. I think we may have certain people in the wrong seats. Dawn says we need to move them, but they're digging in their heels. Everything feels like it's moving way too slow. Don't allow digging in their heels, right? If they're moving too slow, you need to move faster and say, here's what we're doing this week. Here is what this looks like. Okay. Oh, Wendy, great. Okay, cool. And you'll see Sarah in there, Wendy, teaching. She's at our events teaching. You'll see her doing specific things, and she has calls that she does on operations. Okay. So let me go back. Don't let people dig in their heels. Don't let them slow you down. You, the leader, right? You are deciding how fast do I want to move and what will I tolerate. So I don't tolerate slow. Right? If somebody's taking way too long, I'm letting that. We actually are telling somebody today, hey, this project took this many days. It's way too slow, like way too slow. We've got to go faster. Right? So we're letting them know what's expected. We're looking for progress this week. If for some reason they cannot go faster, it's just the wrong person. So I am setting the pace. I am setting the expectation and I'm holding them to it. Put that down in the chat. Are you holding them to it? Okay, Diana, I have multiple projects and it's harder to use it on getting updates to the team. It's more difficult to use on multiple projects. Okay, that surprises me only because I know some pretty large companies on Asana who would definitely have multiple projects. So that surprises me. But if that is a true statement, then you may want to check into Monday.com. Diana, you could also go into like Chat GPT and say, what are the differences between Asana and Monday.com? And my belief is that Asana is harder to use with multiple projects. Do you think this is true? And how do people use Asana effectively with multiple projects? And you're going to get answers and you're going to see, oh, wow, it is a fact, right? Or you're going to see, oh, that's a thought, a belief I've made up in my head. And now I've just like there might be an Asana expert in the room who's been using it for 10 years. That's like, oh my goodness, no, Diana, you just got to do X, Y, Z. And she's going to show you and you're going to go, oh, easy. So before you jump ship, because jumping to different software takes time, right? There's a massive time waste, right? In that transfer, sometimes worth it, sometimes not. So I just want you to do your research before you jump and switch softwares. Okay. So this like switch tasking, right? Like switching anything, it always costs time and money. There's usually a double payment because you're not going to let go of the one software while you're switching. You're going to keep both. So now you're paying for two. So I just always tell people like, slow down. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, right? All right. I love it. Donna says, I'm replacing 2 people, 1 new hire in only 1 month and 1 that has been less than. Yeah. And it's okay. So I've had people who think, oh, shoot, I followed your hiring process and I still want to let this person go in 30 days. What did I do wrong? And I always tell people, the more you start to understand the skill set of really hiring and just doing it well and having high expectations, it doesn't mean you're never going to get the wrong people in your organization. It just means you're going to recognize it faster and let them go faster. So we had somebody who actually said, like, kind of a weird win. I'm firing somebody, 30 days in. And she's like, it's a win because I would have not recognized it and I would have let them stay for a year or two and then dragged my heels firing them and then wasted all of that money. And today I let her go at day 30. That's getting stronger at hiring and firing, right? So I really want you to like grasp sometimes like firing faster, right? You're starting to gain that skill set. Yeah, Dawn, hold them to it. Social Red says, what's an ideal time off policy for an operator or salaried employee? Okay, so ideal time off, this isn't a 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like there's not a right answer, okay? What needs to be understood, and my operator right now has unlimited PTO, okay? What she understands, right? What they need to understand is if you are starting to take off so much time and her numbers she has to watch and track. She's watching my revenue, she's watching my profit, she's making sure that the business is just running without me, right? If she's gone and I'm having to jump in, or she's gone and the revenue's starting to dip and we're not hitting numbers, we've got a problem and this is no longer working, right? So she just has to know, like, as long as you've got it under control, you can do whatever you need to do, just like me, right? I can take off as much time as I want. But am I going to take off next week or am I going to take off all summer if the numbers are awful? No, right? I'm going to have to work to make sure I've got the business in a good spot. That's how my operator is thinking. So in fact, all of my leaders kind of had that same situation. As a salaried employee, I would not go the unlimited route. I think that is something where, a leader has to own those numbers and own their results, and they have just a different level of responsibility than just a normal average, right, salaried employee. So I would be giving them specific amount of time off. What I like to do, this is just an example. You may start they get 10 days off PTO, right away in the beginning, and they earn it as they move on. I do not let people take their PTO within the first 90 days when they may not even be here, right? But like you might go, okay, year 2, I want them to go up to 15 days, or year 3, right? And then at some point you're going to want to max that out, because somebody could be with you 20 years. You can't be giving them 20 weeks off, right? So you really want to ask, at what point are we probably not going to be able to go further than, I'm making this up, you may never go past 3 weeks off, right? 3 weeks vacation or 4 weeks vacation may be as far as you ever go, and they're grandfathered in with that specifically. Okay. But yeah, usually we start around the 2-week mark. I think personally right now, my business is a little higher. I think we technically might have it at 3 weeks starting, but we didn't even just a year ago. So remember, like, if we're producing $1 million a month or more, we may be in a different space financially, but we also have such a large team that it's easier for somebody to take off. If you're a team of 4 and you've got somebody leading you constantly, oh my goodness, all of your people are going to feel it, and they're going to get burnt out every time somebody goes on vacation. Does that make sense, guys? So it really does vary by where you're at financially. How old is this business? Are they actually owning it? Do you have people to actually help you? Do you consider paid time off as the same as days off? So paid time off is they get a day off and they're paid to work. If they're getting an unpaid day off, if that's what you mean, I would not consider that. So with vacation days, those are for our full-time employees, right? So they've got their set schedule, and I'm giving them actually days and times off, right? Now, if I only have somebody who works 3 days a week, right, they're not getting PTO and things like that. PTO, paid time off, okay? All right. Would you say an operator is as essential as, would you say an operator is essential as an EA? So a couple things. Taniel, I recommend sometimes an EA should be before the operator. It's different depending on your business. Sometimes we say get started with an EA and then bring the operator on later. Sometimes it's different. So I will say though that all successful businesses, or I shouldn't say all successful because there's some that are, but like all well-oiled businesses, they usually have both. Okay? Because think about this. My assistant assists me with my work, right? Sarah, my operator, is making sure that the whole company, all of the projects are getting done. So she's looking at the business. My EA is looking at me. So have I seen a business super successful where there's just an operator and no EA? Well, yeah. What do you think is success? Are they making 7 figures? Are they profitable? Yeah. However, that owner is definitely working harder than they need to be without an assistant. So to me, I would never, like, if I were to start another company again, you better believe I'm having an EA, an executive assistant, and an operator for sure. Okay. And I would hire those two as quickly as I could. But also I would be strategic on which one first. And I would make sure that the one of them, I've recouped my money before I go hire the second one. Okay. All right. Okay, so what's a good limit for unpaid time off days for a part-time hourly employee who may be putting in too many requests off? So this is where I go back to, what did I hire you for? So if I hired you for 3 days a week and you are taking vacation days constantly, it's probably just not a good fit, right? So you want to ask yourself, at what point is this causing a bigger frustration in the business? So I can't answer that for you because you might go, yeah, it really doesn't matter. Somebody will happily pick up their hours and it's not a big deal. You might go, we're a team of 3. And every time this person who works 3 days a week needs off, we're struggling big time. So you have to figure out what is the right amount of time where the business can sustain itself and the other members of the company are not getting frustrated. Right. So think, if I gave, like right now, like my social media manager and my assistant sometimes will help each other out when one of them's on vacation. If one was taking off constantly and the other one had to do her job every time she took off, this person is going to start to complain, right? Who's doing that for you? It might be the same problem. Like one person keeps calling in and the person who keeps jumping in is getting really frustrated and they might leave. And now you've got the person who's been helping out leave you, and this person's unreliable. So you just got to be really, really careful. Okay. Donna, what are your thoughts on hiring through a staffing agency or a VA when you're having trouble finding help? Okay. I could go on a massive rant here. Let me just put my thoughts in order. Here's what I think. I think a lot of people don't know how to hire well. Okay. I think agencies are hit or miss. I think some are good and I think some are not good. And the worst agencies are the ones that don't know how to hire and train. And if you happen to pick that, like for instance, we just left an agency. We were with them for 6 months. The team we were working with in February is completely different than the team we were working with 6 months ago. Their turnover was insane. Why did we leave? Because we're seeing no progress, because every month somebody new is coming into our organization to help us. And we're like, what is going on? Right. So we left them. We need to find somebody better that actually knows how to hire and train. So agencies can be very, very risky. Now you might think, but Stacey, it's a staffing agency. Of course they know how to hire. They're a staffing agency. No, think about this. A staffing agency can be really, really hard to work with because all they're doing is trying to find people, good people to fill positions with. If you are at, I don't know, like for instance, we use a staffing agency for one department. Okay. We are a very large company. We use them sometimes monthly. They love us. Okay. When I go and say, I need this new hire and I need them in the next 7 days. Okay. And some other people are looking for the same position. Do you think you're getting the best applicant for your role? Never. They're coming right. They're going to make sure they're biased. They're like, we want to keep Stacey happy. She literally uses us constantly. Her business is bigger than a lot of these places. They're going to feed me the best applicants. And that means if you're not as big as me, they're never going to get the best of the best. Okay. So you are better off learning how to hire yourself so that that same person has applied to the agency, has applied to you, has applied to other places, and you at least get a shot to interview them and sell yourself. Versus some of these agencies are never feeding you the good people. And I'll tell you this, the same type of agency we're using now, like 5 years ago, we were using a company just like that. And we never got like great people. And I used to think, oh, they're not that good. And I'm like, no, now I go, oh, I wasn't that good. And they were never, right? They were never giving me the good people because I wasn't that good yet. So you've got to be really careful with staffing agencies because it depends what pecking order you're in, right? So if you're having trouble finding help, right? This is a very common problem with business owners. If you don't understand how to create a good hiring funnel, you will never get enough good quality leads, right? So it's the same thing with marketing. If you're like, I just can't get enough good people. You never say there's not enough good people out there. You just understand, right? I think we're smart enough to go, my funnel isn't working, my marketing's not working, my Instagram's not working. Like I'm not doing good enough to get people excited to jump into my funnel. But with hiring, we say things like, oh, there's just no good people out there right now. It's slim pickings. No one is looking for jobs these days. Wrong, right? It's your funnel, your hiring funnel is just not that good. They're not applying, okay? We've literally, I think this week alone, 3 new people have joined our team. Phenomenal people. Every time my team hires, we brought on like 5 people a month the last couple months. Every time we hire, my team is like, oh my goodness, wait till you see how phenomenal this person is. Like this person is insane that we just got. Okay. So I really want you to understand if you're like, there's no good people, it's really hard. You guys, there's people everywhere. Your competitor has a lot of people. Your competitor, like they're there. Okay. And A players are always looking for the better option, right? So they're checking out other places. And it's possible they're looking at your job description, your job posting, and saying, like, not interested, gonna go here, gonna stay at my current job. Nicole, literally our entire program, Well-Oiled Operations, like that is a massive part of what we do. So how to hire, how to onboard, how to train, how to hold accountable, all of that is inside of Well-Oiled Operations. If you're interested in learning more, Bella, where can they book a call? If we can put the link to book a free call to learn more about the program, I would love to have anybody who's interested do that. And then Bella, can we share what is the workbook for today and how can they go grab that on Instagram? All right, we'll get that to you in the chat here in just a second. So yeah, Donna, a headhunter then gets 20% of annual salary like a recruiter. It's just so expensive, right? So somebody just said to me, okay, I'm struggling with turnover. I keep finding these people. Should I go back to this recruiter and hire again? And I said, well, how was the recruiter last time? Like, what was your success rate? And she goes, I had 3 people. I paid $7,000 a piece. She said 2 left at day 45. The guarantee was only for up to day 30. They quit at day 45, no replacement. And this girl, she asked for like an insane raise. And she's like, I'm pretty sure I need to fire her. 45 days in, 14 grand gone. The next person a year later needs to go. Okay. So my point is, it's to not learn how to hire and train and onboard is one of the costliest things you could do. So my friend spent, right? My friend spent $21,000 and wants to know, should I go back there and do it all over again, even though none of those people are working out? No. Like, why would we repeat the process? $21,000, you can learn how to hire for less than $21,000. Okay. So that's going to be huge. So the keyword, you guys, DM me on Instagram at Stacy Tuschl and message me the word onboarding and we'll send you over today's free workbook. Every single live training has a free workbook detailing a lot of the stuff I'm saying and going in more in depth as well. Okay. Nicole, we'll check in. Team, can we write down Nicole's name and figure out what needs to happen or how we can get in touch with her? We will make sure to do that. Wendy, is this mission statement clear, specific enough? We train out of this world reading teachers who successfully teach any child to read. Okay. Here's what I think. Where did that just go? Okay. I think out of this world reading teachers tells me who you hire, right? But it kind of took me a minute to like figure out what you were even saying, right? Versus like just simplifying it and even just being able to say um like just think about just saying if you said to me, Stacy, we can teach any child to read, right? That's a whole lot clearer on now talking about like you're bringing in the person of like when I talk about what we do, I don't talk about the person that I've hired to do it. I just talk about what we do. Does that make sense? So for me, there's no mention of the person. It is truly like just us, like we, right? So for us, and this is going off of memory, we help business owners transform their job, right? Their business from a job into a valuable asset they own. You're like, yes, I have a job. It would be a whole lot better to have like something like that I own, right? And we say, while getting more profit in your pocket, more white space on your calendar. So it's like, okay, we help you do this by doing this, right? Got it. I think you could be a little clearer and get rid of that. Now, when you go to hire, you can say things like, we're looking for out of this world reading teachers who love what they do and blah, blah, blah. That's more in that phase, I think, over there. Okay. We don't teach the children, we teach adults. Okay. Oh, so then I was really unclear, Wendy, because I literally thought you were saying, okay. We train out of this world. Yeah. I think that there needs some clarity on what do you do and what does that look like? Right? What do you do and what does that look like? And get a little bit more clear on that. Yeah, Wendy, the fact that you had to clarify me talking about it meant it was not clear. Okay. Oh, thanks, Nicole. She said there's a different name that had the meeting. We'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah, Donna, that is my fear. I can't wait to learn to be better at this. And you guys, it takes time. I've been in business for 22 years. I've been hiring now for 19 of those years. I wasn't great in the beginning either. I'm really good now because I've been committed to growing my team for 2 decades. So stick with it. It is one of the best skill sets you can ever have. And what did we say earlier? Your competitors will never be able to keep up with you. You just can't keep up with the size when these people are so focused, right? When they're so focused on outperforming, right? Going back, cleaning it up. Okay, love it. So yeah, if anybody wants to book a free strategy call, it's a 60-minute call. It tells you how we help you, how we could be a good fit to work together if you qualify. We only work with businesses that already produce at least $150,000 in annual revenue. So you're already kind of making like multiple 6, 7, maybe even 8 figures in annual revenue. Why do we have a limit? Because our program does not teach you how to start a business. We are assuming your business is started. We're now helping you clean up the mess you maybe have created, because let's be real, a lot of our businesses can get a little messy, right? And we're here to help you clean that up. So it's just a different person that we typically serve, who's already had success, already is selling, has a team, etc. Versus somebody at $0 probably doesn't have a team yet. A lot of our content is like, let's build the dream team. Okay. All right. Let me see if I missed anything else. All right, guys, if there's any other questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to give you a quick little recap. We've already been together for 54 minutes, which I can't believe that just flew. So a couple things you need to know. Last Thursday's video, if you go on my YouTube channel and you click on my most recent video besides today, you're going to see this 1-page document. And it's going to help you get really, really clear. Fill this out before you go into that meeting and re-onboard and reset the tone. Make sure you get crystal clear. Let them know. You are so welcome. Thank you so much. You guys, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please make sure to do so. Thank you so much. If you're already one of the 5,000 subscribers that have hit that button, we appreciate you so, so much. If you like today's video, hit that like button as well. And we're just so grateful to have you here. I am not done. I will be back tomorrow with an on-demand training. You'll see it tomorrow morning pop up bright and early at 9 a.m. If you hit that bell, like notification, you'll get notified when it goes live. And then I'll be back next week with another live training. All right, guys, you are so welcome. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.